Okay, so this is our driver for this week's coding. And as mentioned, right, as we said before, this is people's list, which will create an object of simple list, which will have objects of the class node, which inside will have persons, and they are validated by the PE exception. So I have some variables in here that will help me work with the list, but most importantly, right here, I have a person list, which is an instance of simple list. Basically, I'm creating an object of class simple list to build my list of person, I'm sorry. So I am creating and trying catching, just in case something goes wrong. And I started putting everything nicely, but then I decided just to throw one here that has an empty name, just to bother that, right? And well, this is something we're going to do in the future, so I am going to take that in here, right? But in here, we can actually say how many persons are on the list by looking at the object person.list and getting this using the size method, which we have here in simple list. And we know that size is right here, which returns the count, which counts the elements that have been added, and we have a static variable to do that. Okay, that's very useful in this case, because now with this static variable, I can see how many elements, how many nodes there are without me having to count them in this class. As I could add them, as I add them, I count them, right? But it's best if the list in itself takes care of the variables and its own characteristics. So now what I told you, oh, well, it's not that important in here. Now, when we moved into people.list, we know, wow, in PeopleList, we know that it is actually quite important to be able to do that. Again, we could do it otherwise, but it's more elegant to use a static variable for that. Okay, and we use it for this method. Now we can print the list, and for that we just call the PrintList method, and it's gonna print it. Okay, now in here I added a comment in line 64 in which I say I am not going to be printing each element from the list. I'm not going to go to the list and ask it to give me the next element or anything like that. I don't do this because printing the list is something that the list itself has to do. If I do anything with the node itself has to do it, and the person takes care of person. And this is one of the hardest things for the students to figure out. Where do I put stuff that belongs to the person? Well, in the person. Will this or that action belong to the person class, or will it belong to the node class? So going back, the person is the nitty-gritty, the information about the person in itself, only the person. It doesn't care where it's located or in memory, or if it's in a list or in an array or in nothing, or if it's a single variable. It doesn't care. It's just a person. Now the node knows that it has some information, and it has a reference to a next node that is of the same kind as this node itself. Now, if you want to talk about a collection of nodes, now that is the simple list. This one has the collection of nodes. This one, the list will know which node is in the front, which node is in the back, and how many nodes there are. But it doesn't worry about the particular node in itself, or to know the details of one node in itself. It's the list as an object. Last but not least, we have the people list, which is our driver. Okay, and our driver will allow us to use the simple list. Now, having said all this, now we need to go back into the person and look at the changes that I have implemented in there that will allow our list to look the way it does. Okay, so in the next video, we go back into the person.java.